Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 29th of October. Indian PM Modi meets top Saudi leadership in Riyadh. Pakistan's former Premier Nawaz Sharif granted 8-week bail in corruption case. And US envoy Khalilzad says another round of Afghan peace talks completed. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who reached Saudi Arabia on one-day official visit, was accorded Guard of Honor at the Riyadh airport. Prime Minister Modi held meetings with top Saudi leadership aimed at bolstering bilateral ties. Modi arrived in the Gulf Kingdom to attend the third Future Investment Initiative, popularly referred to as the Davos in the desert.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday reached Riyadh for a one-day official visit and was accorded Guard of Honor at the Riyadh airport. He was received at the Royal Terminal of the King Khalid International Airport by the Governor of Riyadh, Faisal bin Bandar Al Saud. The Prime Minister later held meetings with top Saudi leadership, including Environment, Water and Agriculture Minister of Saudi Arabia. He also met Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, and both talked about efforts to improve energy cooperation between India and Saudi Arabia. Prime Minister Modi arrived in the Gulf Kingdom to attend the third Future Investment Initiative or FII Forum in Riyadh. FII Forum is also popularly referred to as the Davos in the desert and is intended to project the kingdom as the future investment hub in the region. World leaders and Wall Street heavy hitters gathered for the annual investment forum in Riyadh with global West disparities, central bank policy and technology in focus.
A 23-member delegation of European Union lawmakers arrived in Srinagar, city of India's Jammu and Kashmir, on Tuesday to assess the ground situation. The visit comes as the international gaze was turned towards Jammu and Kashmir after Article 370 that granted special status to the erstwhile province was revoked by the government in August. India has maintained that the move was an internal matter and assured the international community that it was taking steps to normalize the situation. The EU delegation had earlier on Monday also met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. Rescue operations of a 2-year-old boy who was stuck in a borewell in the southern Indian city of Trichy for almost 4 days ended in tragedy on Tuesday. He was declared dead by officials after his decomposed body was recovered during the wee hours of the day.
A 2-year-old boy who fell into a borewell in Trichy city of India's southern Tamil Nadu province last Friday was declared dead by officials early on Tuesday morning. Toddler Sujit Wilson's body had decomposed inside the borewell. A rescue operation for almost 4 days that involved digging a parallel tunnel to get to the toddler was called off soon after the decomposed body was recovered during the wee hours of the day. Wilson fell into a narrow borewell at a height of 35 feet and later slipped further down to a depth of 100 feet last Friday. The body was sent to a government hospital for autopsy and then handed over to his parents.
இல்லை யாருக்குமே காமிக்கல இல்லை எடுத்தோடனே ஏன்னா அவங்க உள்ளேயே வச்சு உள்ளே எடுத்தோடனே அவங்க வந்து ஏன்னா அழுகி வச்சுங்கிறதுனால அவங்க வந்து மூடி தான் எடுத்துகிட்டு வந்தாங்க அதனால் எங்கள்கிட்ட காமிக்கல.
Toddler Sujit's family members performed the last rites and he was buried later in the morning. In June this year, a toddler who was stuck in a similar well died in Punjab province despite a 2-day rescue operation to retrieve the boy. There have been fresh calls for fines for those who leave abandoned wells open.
Moving on to news from Pakistan. The Islamabad High Court on Tuesday approved former Prime Minister of Pakistan Nawaz Sharif's bail plea sentence on medical grounds in the Al Azizia corruption reference. Bail has been granted for 8 weeks and Sharif has been instructed to deposit 2 surety bonds of ₹2 million each. Sharif was awarded a 7-year sentence by an accountability court earlier.
The Islamabad High Court on Tuesday granted Pakistan's former Premier Nawaz Sharif bail for 8 weeks in the Al Azizia reference case. A plea for bail had been filed by Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz or PMLN President Shehbaz Sharif for his brother Nawaz Sharif. Former Premier Nawaz Sharif last week procured bail on medical grounds in the ongoing Chaudhry Sugar Mills case from the Lahore High Court. Sharif was awarded a 7-year sentence by an accountability court earlier. The former Prime Minister was shifted to hospital in Lahore last week for medical examination and treatment after his condition deteriorated with a sudden drop in his platelet count.
In news from Afghanistan, the fourth round of Afghan peace consultations between the United States, Russia and China took place last week, the US Department of State said in a statement late Monday night. Pakistan joined group for second time. In the meeting, they reaffirmed their support for Afghanistan's sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity.
The United States Peace Envoy for Afghanistan, Khalilzad, took to Twitter and confirmed on Monday that the fourth round of Afghan peace consultations between US, Russia and China was held in Moscow last week. Pakistan also joined the four-party consultations for the second time. During the meeting, all the parties agreed on steps in support of the Afghan people's desire to end war and bring a lasting peace. In a statement with 14 points issued late Monday night, the U.S. Department of State said the envoys from Pakistan, Russia, U.S. and China in the recent meeting on peace in Afghanistan reaffirmed their support for Afghanistan's sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity. They called on all Afghans, including the government and the Taliban, to ensure international terrorists do not use Afghan soil to threaten the security of any other country. Meanwhile, Khalilzad, who arrived in Pakistan on an unannounced visit as part of the ongoing efforts to revive the stalled peace talks with Taliban, met Prime Minister Imran Khan on Monday. Khan assured the visiting US diplomat of Pakistan's all-out support for brokering the Afghan peace deal at the earliest. The US and the Afghan Taliban were close to striking a deal last month, but US President Donald Trump pulled out the peace process, citing insurgent groups' continued attacks against the American forces.
Sri Lanka's Attorney General's Department held a fundraising event in Colombo recently to collect funds for children affected by the Easter Sunday bombings. The coordinated attacks across the island nation killed more than 250 people in April this year.
Sri Lanka's Attorney General's Department held an event over the weekend in capital Colombo to raise funds for children affected by the Easter Sunday attacks in April. Speaking at the event, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that all those involved in the attacks had been killed or apprehended and the government was drafting new legislations against extremists and terrorists. He said terrorism had affected the entire region and called for more coordinated efforts to tackle the issue. The deadly Easter Sunday bombings took place on April 21 in 3 churches and 3 hotels across the island nation, killing around 277 people, including 8 suicide bombers, and wounded more than 400 people. Investigators identified Zahran Hashim, the founder of the National Tawhid Jamaat, a domestic Islamist group, as the mastermind behind the execution of the coordinated attacks.
Members of the Sikh warrior order displayed their martial art form on Monday during an annual gathering in India's northern Amritsar to mark Sikh festival known as Bandi Chor Divas. The martial arts skills, including horse riding, stunts, left spectators in awe.
Sikhs from across India on Monday participated in a colourful procession and gathering to witness traditional martial art form being performed by Nihangs, a Sikh warrior order in northern Amritsar city on the occasion of Bandi Chhod Divas. The annual gathering is organised a day after Diwali, the festival of lights. Bandi Chhod Divas marks the return of 6th spiritual leader of Sikhs, Guru Har Gobind Sahib, to Amritsar after being released along with 52 Hindu princes taken as political prisoners during the reign of Mughal Emperor Jahangir. The event witnesses Nihangs riding horses and elephants and performing various stunts by using swords, spears, and other weapons.
ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਗਵਾਲੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਕਿਲੇ ਤੋਂ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦੀ ਛੋੜ ਦਿਵਸ ਦੀਵਾਲੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੀਵੇ ਜਲਾ ਕੇ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ। ਦੀਵਾਲੀ ਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੰਦੀ ਛੋੜ ਦਿਵਸ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਸੀ। ਸੋ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ ਬੰਦੀ ਛੋੜ ਦਿਵਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਮੁੱਚੀਆਂ ਨਿਹੰਗ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਬੰਦੀ ਛੋੜ ਦਿਵਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਰਪਿਤ ਮਹਾਨ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਸਜਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ।
Particular scenes which left everyone in awe were the performers standing on two running horses simultaneously. The ancient Sikh martial art form originated from the need of the emerging Sikh community to defend itself. It was an ideological shift of the Sikhs following the execution of their fifth Guru, Arjan Dev, during the Mughal rule.
Hindu women across India on Tuesday observed a fast and offered prayers at temples to celebrate Bhai Dooj or Sibling Festival. The festival celebrates the bond between a brother and a sister.
Hindu women across India on Tuesday celebrated Bhai Dooj or Sibling Festival, which marks the significance of the relation between the brothers and sisters. Women in holy city of Varanasi thronged temples and prayed for the long life of their brothers. On this day, sisters performed the traditional ritual of applying tilak or vermilion marks on the forehead of their brothers and tie holy thread on their wrists. Brothers reciprocate by giving gifts to their sisters.
भाई की लंबी उम्र की मनोकामना के लिए पूजा करते हैं। फिर उनको तिलक लगा के चना निगलते हैं उन लोग, फिर ये कूटा हुआ मिठाई खा करके फिर वो मिठाई उन लोग खाते हैं।
Meanwhile, in northern Prayagraj city, scores of people took holy dips in river Yamuna, offered prayers and performed religious rituals on the auspicious occasion. Legend has it that the rituals of Bhai Dooj were instituted by Yamraj, the Hindu god of death, when he was invited to his twin sister Yami's house. Yami offered prayers to Yamraj. In turn, he gave her a gift.
जमुना जी हम लोग इसलिए नहाते हैं कि भगवान सूर्य के पुत्री यमी ये दोनों लोग भाई बहन यहीं पे मिलते हैं, इसलिए भाई बहनों का ये त्यौहार है। इन लोग नहाते हैं, उन्हीं के पर्व में हम लोग भी नहाते हैं।
Bhai Dooj is celebrated after the festival of lights Diwali during the month of Kartik, the 8th month of the Hindu calendar. It is similar to Raksha Bandhan, which also celebrates the bond between a brother and a sister.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Indian PM Modi meets top Saudi leadership in Riyadh. Pakistan's former Premier Nawaz Sharif granted 8-week bail in corruption case. And US envoy Khalilzad says another round of Afghan peace talks completed. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.